Text files is primarily what we've been working with so far, but there are hundreds of other different file types out there that you could be working with. Today, let's go over two very common ones, CSV and JSON, comma separated values, and the JavaScript object notation files. They're very common ones that I've seen out there and are on the web all the time. You've probably come across them yourself. So let's figure out how to work with these. Cover here is how to work with comma separated values, or CSV files. CSV files you can think of like a table, basically, where each line in the table or each line in the CSV file represents a row in the table, and each column in that table would be values separated by a comma. So for example, we have this guy right here, where is an ID, name, and type is kind of the first row that we have in here. And then we have 1 representing Bulbasaur and its type of grass, and 4 representing Charmander and its type is fire. Then finally 25, which is Pikachu, and its type is electric. So if I go over to our Visual Studio and I pull up this file, you can see that this file, that's exactly what this file looks like. And so to read this file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the CSV package, and I'm going to do with open my file path as reader, like that. And then I am going to create my CSV reader. So my CSV reader is equal to CSV dot reader, and passing in my file handler that's in there. Now what I can do is I can iterate over each row. So for row in CSV reader, I'm going to print row. Now you're going to notice something a little bit interesting about this, and that's because I created this file using Microsoft Excel, and it added a unique encoding to this. And this is where you kind of have to worry about this. So you notice there's some really weird junk that's in here. And what it is just kind of some really just random characters that Microsoft Excel decided to put in there. To get rid of that, what I can do is do encoding is equal to UTF -8 -sig in there. Now the default one is just UTF-8, but I need to do the -sig because what that does is that interprets these random weird characters that are at the beginning and gets them out of there. So now let's rerun this and see what this looks like. And you can see now it looks kind of normal. So that's one thing. This is where encoding starts actually getting to be kind of a complicated situation, because if you've exported something out from, say, like Microsoft Excel, things might be a little bit odd. And so you need to be able to account for that. So always pay attention to what that might be. And so this is how you would work with that CSV file, by reading through it like that. So what else we can do is we can actually, since the CSV file has column names at the top, we can actually convert this over to a dictionary. And we can do that by using the CSV Dict Reader. So going back to my example here, I can do Dict Reader and print out each row that's in there and see what that does. And you'll see that it's actually an ordered dict that's in there. That means it's an ordered dictionary based off of making sure that the order is always the same. Now, what we're going to do is, for each of those, we now know that this is actually a dict value. So I'm going to print out this statement. I'm going to say print f string of Pokemon with ID of row ID is called row I can't type today. What is going on? There we go, man. Of name, and then and is the row type, like this. We're going to print that out like that, and you'll see what I'm doing is I'm actually calling it like a dictionary and passing in these values. Now, I need to be careful about my string delimiters here. And so let's run this like this. And there you can see, I'm actually calling those values based off of, when we look back here at our table, our column names that are in here, which makes that really kind of a neat way. So this is how you would work with CSV files and reading the CSV files. Next up, we're going to read JSON files. So JSON files stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and it's a file format that is used for data serialization. Now, serialization is essentially the process of converting data structures or object state into a static file. JSON is used all over the internet. Most APIs that you're going to be messing with, they are most likely going to be in a JSON format. The other familiar format or common format is like XML that's in there. Now, JSON is meant to be kind of human readable, so you kind of able to see. And as you can see here, we have this JSON file, and they kind of looks interesting. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull up this JSON file in right here, and you can see this is kind of what it looks like in there, and that's what a JSON file is. Now, it's all in one line. You might see them separated out like this, where you have them kind of separated out like this, or it might be even further separated out where each of the field names are in there. But in the end, it all is pretty much the same in there. So I'm going to move this all back like this. And now to read a JSON file, all you need to do is use the JSON library and then call the JSON.load, and then pass in an object or file handler in there, and then it prints it out. And what it actually does is it converts it into a dictionary, or if there's multiple entries in there, a list of dictionaries that are in there. And you can see that we call this very similarly to like what we do with the CSV Dict Reader, that we just call each entry in there like a dictionary that's in there. And so that's how we kind of work with those. So those are two common file types that we work with, the CSV and the JSON. These are quick overviews of how to read them in using built-in libraries for Python. In the next video, we're going to go over just some quick, easy assignments on how to work with these files in practice.